Don Huffines was a member of the Texas State Senate representing District 16 from 2015 to 2017. He too was a victim of the Hurricane Beto in 2018, and we miss his voice of reason in the Texas Senate along with Matt Rinaldi. Senator Huffines was a taxpayer champion, still is, in many ways, including the elimination of the Dallas County Schools, which is a taxpayer-funded agency that has no schools, no teachers, and no students. Thank you, taxpayers of Dallas County. Senator Huffines graduated from University of Texas, Austin in 1981 with a BA in finance, and he started Huffines Communities in 1985, which grew to be one of the largest real estate developers in Dallas. I recall when I first heard Senator Huffines speak at one of our TGP meetings just before the start of the 2017 session, where he told us about his plan to abolish the Dallas County schools. But he also told us about a plan to eliminate the requirement for vehicle safety inspections. I think there were a couple of other things that he announced that night that he wanted to get rid of, and I decided right then and there that Don Huffines was my new hero. He still is my hero, and I think it will become yours too. Please welcome Senator Don.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you very much. And Julie, it's fantastic to be here. Thank you. Well, hello, Patriots! Hey! Hello, Patriots! You guys having fun out here in Denton County at your first meeting?
Yes.
I hope so. I hope so. I love Denton County. I spent a lot of time out here, and I'll just give you a little follow-up on that bio a little bit. But my grandfather started the dealership down the street down here in 1927. So I've spent thousands of nights in Denton County. I love it. Actually, 3 of my 5 children were born right here in Louisville. So it's a lot of patriots out here. I'm a 3rd-generation Texan, and like she said, I went to the University of Texas. I had 5 children, and I can tell you something I'm really worn out with. 3 of them got married in the last 6 months. That's a fact. I know how to dance now. I really do. But I decided, I've been a delegate to the 3 national conventions, a lot of state conventions, and I decided to run for office in 14. I thought I'd give you a little history on that. And well, that's when my state senator in Senate District 16, north half of Dallas County, got voted. He got the prize of being the most liberal Republican in Austin, and so I decided I had to run against that trophy rhino. I like trophy hunting. And I won. I won by a landslide, 635 votes. Patriots like you, let me tell you, 1% matters. It really does. When you're knocking those doors, you're making those calls, remember 1% really matters. Second place is last place in politics. That's just a fact. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit tonight about what the swamp is like in Austin, as Representative Rinaldi said and talked about, and I'm going to tell you like it is, because I'm not on the ballot, and I'm not in office, and they cut the leash off. All right, well, let me just tell you that first, let me just talk about a little bit about the thing I got done down there that Fran mentioned, and that was that I'm most proud of, and that's Dallas County Schools. Dallas County Schools, as she said, was an organization that didn't hire any teachers, didn't teach any students. And let me tell you how I got on that deal. In 2013, I was looking at my property tax bill, and right there at the bottom in Dallas County, if your property tax bill, it says Dallas Equal Fund.
Equalization.
And, yeah, and it's abbreviated. And I said, what in the world is that? So we started digging into it, and what I uncovered was a nest of cockroaches and rats, a bunch of thieves, and it's totally true. And it's a 100-year-old bureaucracy that was let me give you the scale. They had a $100 million annual budget. They had over 3,000 workers there. This is a big organization. Well, as we started digging into it, what really made me dig into it was they would do the flash for cash. When the stop arms would come out, they'd flash you and charge you $300 for passing the bus, even though the rules were real complicated. Well, that business I knew was notorious and infamous for fraud, right, and ripping people off. And so we really started digging into it at the legislature, and we uncovered they weren't just stealing a little bit of money, they were stealing tens of millions of dollars. Tens of millions. And the FBI agent told me that this was the largest political corruption scandal in the history of the state of Texas, and it's probably the largest, or one of the largest in the United States of America. That's how much money they stole. So I'm the one, and they got the Texas Rangers involved, they got the Dallas District Attorney involved, they got the FBI involved. We're the ones that communicated regularly with the investigative reporters who did a great job of uncovering it and reporting on it. So I got legislation done down there in Austin to close them down. And we got it passed and they got closed down. But let me tell you about that. They hired the best lobbyists they could hire. They spent $1.3 million of your taxpayers' money to beat my bill. And as Representative Rinaldi said, it feels so lonely. And it was a lonely fight for me. And I really felt that way. But I finally got it done. And it shouldn't have surprised me. Because I'm going to tell you what happened at our very first Republican caucus meeting. Senatorial Republican caucus meeting. As you probably know, there's 31 state senators in Austin, and there was 20 Republicans. Well, we meet every Monday night to have a caucus meeting. And we meet at a restaurant in Austin. They still do this. And so I'm going to my first caucus meeting, and I'm taking on my favorite documents with me. And I'm nervous, little old me, I'm very anxious and I'm nervous. And I've got the Republican Party platform with me. I just love our party platform. I've been a delegate, I've worked on it many hours over the years and voted on it all. And I just love everything about it. And I think it clearly states who we are as Republicans in the state of Texas. It clearly states what our legislative agendas are. And so I take it with me. I took it with me most of the time in Austin. So I had it on my chair. And we go around the room, and it comes my time, I stand up, and I'm nervous, and I say, well, senators, I think there's two things we need to work on this session. First, we need to get rid of the business tax, the franchise tax, the margins tax. That's a priority of the Republican Party. All business taxes are passed on to the consumer, and we need to do that. And second, I said, we really need to get constitutional carry done. That was a legislative priority, the number one legislative priority of the grassroots or Republican Party platform. I said, guys, look, if I can't convince you this is a great thing for Texas, if I can't convince you to vote on it, I get it. I'm going to work hard to do that, but I get it. The most important thing, though, is that we get this to the floor, and we all vote on it. So we can be accountable, I said. So you can be accountable to the voters, you can be accountable to the Republican Party. And you know what I heard when I said that? Nothing. Silence. Nothing. It was finally, I heard a fork hit a plate. It sounded like a church bell going off. And then 1, 2, 3 senators got up from the table in the middle of the meal and walked out. The rest of the night was very awkward. Very awkward. Well, the next morning, I get a message. It said, hey, Senator Huffines. I said, yes. You need to apologize. And I said, what do I need to apologize for? Well, what you said last night. I said, well, what did I say? And they said, you specifically said these words. This is exactly what they said to me. You need to apologize for saying you're going to hold a Republican senator accountable to the voters. I said, well, I'm damn sure not going to do that. And I committed right then to work on those 2 issues as hard as I could for the next 2 sessions. So let me tell you what happened on those 2 issues. Well, I submitted a great bill to get rid of the franchise tax. It was a great bill. It was tremendous. It was going to put it on a glide path to 0 over 7 or 8 years. And it would have been an easy vote to do, easy vote for everybody. And we could have gone home and we could all just say, we killed the franchise tax. We killed the business tax. And we could have messaged that out across the nation, come to Texas. We don't have any more business taxes. And so my bill, of course, didn't see the light of day in the committee, but I was always on the lookout to see where I could amend it to somebody else's bill. Well, sure enough, later in the session, I knew this low bill number, Lieutenant Governor, was going to come up on the franchise tax. So I was ready. And I was out rounding up my votes. And I had them rounded up. I think I would have won. So I'm nervous. I'm a freshman. And, but then this bill's coming up. And before that bill came up, I'm going to amend. I see some of the senators start to get called back to the principal's office. Back there in the deep pit of the swamp. Back there where the swamp creatures live. And they'd come back real sheepish, and they didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to look at me. So, oh, this ain't going good at all. And then, as the senator told me, the senator came up to me and said, Huffines, they're going to screw you. They're going to figure out a way to screw you just as sure as you're sitting here. I said, really? He said, you wait. Right before that bill came up, they called a timeout, a recess. It's pretty unprecedented. They called a recess. And for an hour goes by, an hour and a half, 2 hours. We're all sitting out there or in the break room, and they said, get the bill out. And what they were doing was they called ledge counsel in, all the attorneys they could get in there, and they're writing legislation to amend my amendment 2 to 3 different ways to China. Okay? So they would never have to vote on my amendment. So they bring that bill up, I put my amendment on there, and as soon as I did that, all hell breaks loose and amendments are flying everywhere. Nobody had to vote on my bill, and they killed it. That's how desperate they were not to have to be accountable to get rid of that tax. Same thing happened on constitutional carry. I was prepared to put that amendment, my bill to get rid to have constitutional carry on any bill I could. They made sure no bill came up that my amendment would be germane to. But you know, okay, I'm being a little hard on them. They don't really want to be accountable, right? Well, that's wrong. That's wrong. They do want to be accountable, but they certainly don't want to be accountable to anybody in this room. Nobody. They want to be accountable to the lobbyists, to the money. They want to be accountable to each other. They want to be accountable to leadership. And the worst thing, they want to be accountable to the Democrats. To the Democrats. They always talked about the Democrats. They never talked about the grassroots. I'm telling you the truth. Have you ever seen our Governor Abbott, talking about our party platform? Have you ever seen him flapping it around saying, this is our legislative agenda. This is what we stand for? No. Have you ever seen Ken Paxton do it? Have you ever seen Glenn Hager do it, our leadership? Have you ever seen George P. Bush do it? No. They're not going to do it. They're not going to talk about it. You know why they don't talk about it? Because they don't believe in it. They don't believe in it. Let me tell you, patriots, something you might not know. They don't like you. I'm telling you the truth. They hate you. Most of your Republican elected office holders is what I'm talking about. They don't like you. They make fun of you. They ridicule you. They laugh at you. They are duplicitous. And they lie to you. They use you. I've seen it. I'm telling you the facts. I'm telling you like it is. And you wonder why we had a purple session last session. Really? I'm telling you, we've never not had a purple session in the state of Texas. Never. Democrats ran our state for 120 years. Now you got a bunch of rhino Republicans and party switchers from Democrats to Republicans have been running it for 18 or 20 years. That's what they are. They don't care about your party platform. They don't care about liberty. They don't understand it. I mean, but let me tell you something, guys. You're going to get something every session. They're going to go back to the back rooms. They're going to put their feet up on the desk, their boots on the desk, and they're going to open the door and they're going to pull out the whiskey. And they're going to start sipping it. And they're going to say, well, what are we going to give the grassroots this session? We got to give them something. Yeah, we got to give them something, all right. We got to give them a party favor. and they'll laugh. Let's give them a party favor. You're going to get one every session. You're going to get one. You'll get two. I doubt if you get three unless they mess up. And you know what? You're going to complain about it. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to stick a pacifier in your mouth and tell you to shut the hell up, that you don't know what you're talking about. We're the smartest people in the room. We know everything. And they'll go around the state, and the spin wheels will start spinning. And they're going around the state telling everybody how smart they are. That's what they're going to do. They do it every session. Well, Patriots, let's just talk about it real quick. What happened last session? Did we secure the border? No, if we wanted a secure border, I can promise you the border would be secure. No one would cross that border. Did we get freedom in education, school choice?
Oh my God.
No. Did we outlaw abortion? No. Did we get meaningful property tax relief? No. And most important of all, what about ballot security, voter fraud?
Don't even go there.
I mean, did we get any help on that? No. Governor Abbott was Attorney General for 12 years. 12 years. I don't remember him doing nothing on voter fraud. Look, we know dead people vote. We know that non-citizens are registering to vote and voting. A misdemeanor and a felony. And not just hundreds, but thousands of them are voting. Has Ken Paxton done anything about it? No, nothing. And the worst thing about voter fraud? Software manipulation. Software manipulation. Let me tell you, if you can program if you software to count the vote, you can program software to change the vote. That's just a fact. I promise you. Well, in 2018, evidence was presented to me in Dallas County that we might have a problem, a software problem. So I dug into it. And it looked pretty compelling. But then I started digging into it more, and I realized that the Secretary of State, of course, I knew this, but Secretary of State's is a Republican, appointed by a Republican governor, right? He's the one that's supposed to be enforcing it, as our Attorney General, a Republican. So then I realized, well, God, if I'm going to fight this and sue, and you had this legal fight, I'd have to be fighting my own party. I'd be fighting the leaders of my own party. They won't do anything about it. So I gave it up. What else? I just gave it up. And Patriots, we shouldn't be fighting ourselves. We should be out fighting the Democrats, the socialists, the communists, right? They're the ones that are trying to change the worship of God, the government. They're the ones that are trying to bring the tyranny to the table so that we all fall into the pits of hell and the horrors of tyranny and communism. But I know you guys want to cut the chains of government. You don't want to be a slave to the government. Oh, you're saying, Huffines, you're a little tough, aren't you? We're not a slave to the government. Really? What about the fruits of your labor? Your hands, your mind. Who owns that? You don't own it. The government owns it. The government tells you how much you're going to keep and how many hoops you're going to jump through to keep it. They own you. What about your property? What about your business, your home, your ranch, your farm? Do you own that? Never. You will never own it. You just rent it for property taxes from the government. You can pay your mortgage off, it doesn't matter. You're going to still pay rent. The government owns it. And they're going to tell you what the rent is. What about our education? Let's think of that. Let's see. You go to school where the government tells you. You study a curriculum the government tells you. And the government hires the teachers and pays them. And you wonder why our children are being poisoned with the attributes of socialism? I mean, seriously? Well, we got a problem. Tyranny is real, and tyranny is evil. And this is a clear case of good versus evil. Patriots, we need to illuminate the battlefield. We really do. We need to see who's with us and who's against us. Let me read you something. Revelations 3:15. I know your deeds. You're neither cold nor hot. How I wish you were one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither cold nor hot, I'm about to vomit you out of my mouth. We're all going to meet our Maker. And I pray this is never said about me. And I really don't think it'll be said about anyone in here. I'm really optimistic. I know that you guys understand that our Constitution was divinely inspired, divinely created. I know you understand that the fundamental role of government is to defend your God-given liberty. That's the fundamental role. I know you believe that. You know, here we are here in Denton County, and you guys are going to just light the prairie alive with liberty. I mean, you need to take true Texas to every county. You really do. I really am excited, very excited of what's going to happen. I mean, we've got a president right now. It's the most pro-life president in the history of our country. We're going to take, and he is a fighter. Obviously, he's a fighter. Everybody knows Trump is. I mean, you know, Trump's going to take it to you. And he's doing a good job of that. I think we're going to win the House back. I think we're going to win Dallas County back. I think everybody's going to work hard. And if we work together, we can win. If I can take down Dallas County schools and come up with, and find that corruption, put 5 people in prison, we got 5 or 10 more that need to go to prison. But if I get those, and the whole board was elected, they all need to be in prison. And that was an elected board by everybody in Dallas County. But we need all those guys. But if I can get those people put in jail and working together, I know we can. I'm sure of it. And I just think Denton County is a perfect place to start. There's such great patriots. Look, I know our greatest days are going to dawn, are yet to dawn. And I really believe our time is coming. Our time is now. To liberty, prosperity, and virtue forever. God bless you, and God bless Texas.